Hey guys, it's me, back after a whole ass year. Alright you guys, let me start off by saying sorry, my bad, my apologies. Moving forward with this channel, we are no longer making promises that I cannot hold myself accountable for, because I feel like every single year I'm like, hey guys, I'm back, and then I post maybe 1, 2, sometimes 3 videos. I'm feeling extra motivated, and then I just completely disappear without a trace. Like I said, my bad, that is not gonna happen again. So because it's been a hot minute, aka 12 months since I last uploaded on this channel, I thought that warranted a life update, chit chat kind of a video, and I thought I would integrate that with the get ready with me kind of a vibe, you know? While I was away from YouTube, I did notice that my channel grew. I don't know how active my community is, but to those who are new and to those who are watching, hi, hello, thank you so much for watching. It actually means a lot. I'm just gonna be honest, I don't like talking about myself. I feel like I kind of feel self-absorbed when I'm sitting here talking to the camera and just laying everything about my life out there. So I would totally love if this video could facilitate some sort of conversation or something more meaningful between you and I, like put me on in the background while you're like getting ready or doing your homework or having a mental breakdown, and like let's talk about life together, you know? And all of us here know that your boy can talk for ages and ages and ages, as evidenced by my previous uploads. So before we dive into like the fun part of the video, I want to kind of lay out a few things. First of all, I want to thank my friend Jenny for encouraging me to sit down and talk to the camera and restart my YouTube career again. Not necessarily a career, but hobby. I'm not an influencer. I don't want to be an influencer. I just think this is really fun. For as long as I can remember, I've loved being creative. From fetus Tim to grown Tim, I've always just loved being artistic and creating. And through growing and finding myself, I've also developed a passion for makeup. So that's why we are going to be getting ready while talking to the camera. Okay, I need to chill with applauding myself. Anyways, shout out to Jenny. She's amazing. She's so kind. She's just so genuine. And I want to be like that. I think we all want to be like that. So go check her out. I also want to put it out there that this video is just talking about my experiences and what, you know, the past year has looked like, or past year and a half has looked like for me. And, you know, there's going to be a few shady and kind of scandalous moments here and there. But the intent of this video is not to drag people onto the dance floor or tarnish anyone's reputation. I'm not even going to be naming names, but I just want to talk about my experience and how I kind of view things from my perspective. Yes, like I said, this video is going to have some definitely juicy topics. At least I think so, because I clearly like to toot my own horn. So without further ado, how about I hush up and we can move on with the video. Yay! I've been a little rusty, so I'm going to like challenge my editing skills. Ready? Whoosh. Alright, let me just be candid. This is not my first go at this video. I have many previous iterations of it. All of them were hot garbage. I love a cream blush, y'all. Like, it's just so dewy and just looks so... Oh my god, just put the freaking camera backward. Oh my god. So those are going in the trash, and we're gonna try and start new again. And if I can't get it right, well, I can't get it right and fuck it. Also, I'm not going to be discussing any of the techniques or products I'm using, so if you're wondering, what the hell is he doing? You're going to have to keep wondering. I think that would be a good idea for a future video, but for the sake of time and my throat, we're just gonna like try to keep it simple and try to keep it short and concise, but it's obviously going to be a challenge for me because like I said, I like to talk, and it can be difficult for me to shut the fuck up. So let's start. So my friend, how have you been? It's been quite a turbulent year and a half, and we've certainly been in for one hell of a ride. I just hope that, you know, you're hanging in there and there are brighter days ahead for you, because regardless of whether or not you believe the pandemic is like a hoax, or you've been doing everything to follow like CDC protocols, you know, there's just no denying the fact that this pandemic has radically shifted the way the world has worked, just multiple aspects of our society. So making those quick accommodations in a short amount of time has certainly been difficult for so many people, including me. So let's backtrack to about a year and a half ago when I uploaded a video about being exiled from school campus and participating in remote learning. At that time, I thought that this whole pandemic thing was going to be really easy, and it was going to, you know, maybe be like only maybe max like 12-month kind of a problem. Oh boy, was I wrong. So the humor is going to just like gradually diminish as we talk about these more deeper topics, but I'm going to try my best to make light of the situations that I was in. So I've grown from all these experiences, but just laying that out there again because I happen to be the king of disclaimers, I guess. So being honest, at that time, I was neglecting my health big time because like I said, I had this mindset that this was just going to be easy and, you know, I was personally okay and there was nothing to be concerned about. But if you've watched my coming out video, I've mentioned that I've struggled with mental illness and I have OCD, and it has the capability to be very invasive in my everyday life. Like, I'm just gonna say it right now, like, on this channel, this is something my friends have even noticed as well, I hold back on a lot of the things I say, and I actually, when I watch my old videos, I'm like, who is that kid? What is he even doing? What is he even saying? Because it's really, I can really put on a show and pretend to be a whole different person. So from here on out with this channel, you're gonna see a different version of me online, and that version of me is gonna be the real me. There's a lot to be said about being honest and real about, you know, your struggles. So tying it back to the whole OCD and like anxiety thing, I do things like take medication and, you know, talk to a therapist to manage my mental illness, because I'm not gonna delve too deep into it because I could be here for years and years talking about my entire life, but there's been a fuck ton of trauma in my life, and I don't really talk about it a lot because it's a sensitive and honestly uncomfortable topic, and obviously I don't have to sit in front of the camera and share it with the whole fucking world. But like I said, there's just something about being honest and real and kind of emphasizing that it's okay to not be okay. Or it's okay to just be okay and not great, you know what I mean? But at the time, I had somehow convinced myself that I was in a really good mental place, that I didn't need to really address, you know, what's going on in my noggin. Why did I describe it like that? Anyways, I stopped taking my medication and just kind of ventured forth with kind of exploring this whole new dystopian, like, pandemic world that, you know, we still are actually living in right now. Also, you guys, my hair is gonna be a hot mess in this video because it's already a hot mess and I'm pulling back on it and slathering creams right next to it, so it's just gonna be a hot mess, okay? Like that. I genuinely thought I was in a really good place at that time, so I kind of stopped addressing my mental health, and, you know, looking back on it, like, everything was going fine in spite of the pandemic kicking off. I still partook in many of my, like, normal activities that I would have done regardless if there was a pandemic or not, you know, hanging out with friends and dating and hooking up, just obviously to a much lesser extent and with more caution. And for the most part, like, life seemed to be just fine. Like, I was like, wow, like, I've grown so much. Yay, we're good. We don't have to do jack shit anymore. We don't have to take care of ourselves anymore. Hooray! And oh boy, did that come to bite me in the ass sophomore year. So this time I'm describing is like spring, summer of 2020, when the pandemic was like first really like starting, and like there's obviously like less awareness about it and like less medical knowledge, so obviously kind of like the beginning stages of the pandemic. And I went into my sophomore year, for those who don't know, I'm a college student. I went into my sophomore year genuinely convinced everything was going to be fine, I could get through it. But I think the biggest thing about the pandemic is, instead of facing the outside world, especially when you know, go to remote learning and you're on campus and away from your hometown like I was, when you're kind of locked inside, there's really no one to face except you at the core of it. And for me, that was one hell of a wild ride. I mean, that's the thing about not addressing your issues. If you don't fight your demons ahead of time, they'll come back to bite you in the ass, and real hard. And that's exactly what happened to me, you know? You know, I did live with a roommate last year, but for the most part, being stuck inside by myself left me with my own thoughts. And unfortunately in my life, I don't really like to talk about this, but I think it's important to be just honest. I have had so much trauma in my life. I am a first-gen low-income student. My mom endured the Vietnam War and she emigrated over here for the sole purpose of me having a better life. So, you know, there's the part about, you know, trauma being passed down from generation to generation, which absolutely is true, because the Vietnam War was horrible, like unimaginable. Like, as someone who is in the nursing profession has seen terrible things in the hospital, that's obviously frightening. The things that my mom and my aunt, who also lives in the States with me, experience are unimaginable. Like, things they've seen and the things they've experienced. Like, they almost died. Their house got blown up and they still have shrapnel in their bodies to this day that, you know, they just didn't get removed. But it's crazy what they went through. It just makes sense why there's just so much trauma in that negatively impacts mental health and the way you think about things and the way you do things. Unfortunately, a lot of that was passed down to me. We started off this video very like lighthearted and fun-spirited, and now we just like, when you're stuck inside and you're constantly like thinking about every aspect of your life and your purpose. My mom and my aunt went through hell for me to get here, and it's like all this pressure is on me now because I'm the first generation to be here. That was further perpetuated by the fact that I earned a full ride scholarship to my college. And obviously that's a huge honor and I'm so beyond grateful for it. But the amount of pressure that was kind of bestowed upon me because of that was just, whew, it's overwhelming. And to know that someone went through hell and back and they're kind of relying on you to make the efforts worthwhile, it's a lot. And that's just kind of an intrusive thought that just kept replaying over and over and over in my head. And being honest, I'm not naturally an intelligent person. I'm really not. I have to work really hard to kind of ingrain knowledge within my mind and learn things efficiently. It's just kind of how my mind rolls, you know? So I hope that you can understand why I felt during this time that the whole weight of the world was kind of falling onto my shoulders. And it almost feels kind of wild to share this with the internet, but I think, like I said, there's really an important conversation to be had about being honest and open. Oh god, my voice is starting to like break up. That's a sign that I'm getting emotional. Let's try not. In a previous recording, I cried. I don't want that to happen. I'm actually in a really good mood today. It snowed for the first time, like in the suburbs here, and I'm like, oh my heart. I love it. I love to see it. We're here for it. Pop off, Mother Nature. So I'm not trying to let recalling past events put me in a negative mood because I'm actually in a really good spot right now. And like generally speaking, it wasn't even just thinking about like the way my life is structured. I was also thinking about my purpose and like, why am I here, you know? That also entails thoughts like questioning my own worth. I was like, I wonder if my own family, my aunt and uncle who did sponsor me to come here, and I absolutely love them. I had this thought in my mind, like, what if they're like ashamed of me for like being gay and they wish that they had sponsored one of my other cousins or aunts to come over here instead? And that was just constantly a thought that would replay over and over in my head, amongst others that I could probably talk about in another video because, like I said, I am a chatty individual. So I hope that you can understand like how through those thoughts I became so destroyed and overwhelmed, and it was horrible for my mental health. Like I remember just feeling like I had hit rock bottom and just being stuck in bed and thinking like, this is never gonna get better. Why am I here? And I felt like the whole world was falling apart, both externally, like on the outside with the whole pandemic, and within like my realm too. It was even more heartbreaking to see my friends and people around me feel similar ways and to see them suffer. And it was just a terrible time. And my mental health was horrible and my OCD got exacerbated. I caused damage to my mental health that I still, to this day, sometimes struggle with. The academic pressure skyrocketed because of these thoughts. And it shifted my mindset into thinking like someone with more potential deserves this full ride scholarship to the school than I do. And that's unfortunately a thought that sometimes I still struggle with, but even though I know that's absolutely not true, and I worked my ass off during high school to get here. But especially during that time, any situation or scenario in which my intelligence was being assessed, I just did not handle it well, and I would become a nervous train wreck. And it sucks because when you get nervous, other things just begin going downhill and you kind of get stuck in a spiral of negative and pessimistic thoughts, you know? Alright, sorry my friends. We are going to speed up the foundation application process because it is a little bit difficult to apply foundation as I'm talking and changing my facial structure. So let's fast forward and feel free to skip a few seconds ahead of time if you do not want to see me do this. Alright, skin is looking good. By the way, that's a testament to the foundation, not me. Homeboy's diet, not great. Also, we're just gonna pretend I didn't get a lot of foundation in my hair. I'm just graying hair, that's it. I mean, I probably am. stress. But yeah, just curious, have any of you guys like been in the position where you kind of just stuck with yourself and your own thoughts? So this is definitely worth mentioning, but at this time, technically campus was closed, but I had signed a lease to move into an apartment that was located like in proximity to the campus. So it was just me and my friend and another roommate. Oh my god. We're just not talking about it. So it was just really isolating. But yeah, come second semester when I had clinical and it was like mandatory to be on campus, I had more friends arrive. And honestly, like, I feel like that was the beginning point of me healing. Having a support system, that is like the key to life. You need to have those people in your life that you can lean on and turn to during times of trouble. And I can definitely, attest to that, especially during this time. And through my clinical rotation, because I'm a nursing student, I rekindled the friendship between me and my freshman year roommate and his friends. It was amazing, and I absolutely adored them. And I think by having that support system, that is kind of what powered me through the rest of the year. And I ended up doing great, like overall. Like, I feel like despite all the adversity, I had really great grades sophomore year, and I actually still have good grades. Not to toot my own horn or anything, it's just objectively the truth. So yeah, I was like, wow, I survived that. What next, And what was next for me was, whew, I need to address the elephant in the room, and that's my what was I gonna say, melon? It was my mental health. That summer, aka the summer of this year, I started therapy again, and I started seeing a psychiatrist again, and he actually switched me over to a new medication, which has helped me quite a bit. Really, taking care of myself, both physically and mentally, did nothing but really great things for me. And I highly encourage anyone watching this who's kind of scared to, change the routine because you're so accustomed to it, to address some problems that are kind of laying on the back burner. Do it. You're going to feel so much better. And I think so many people can vouch for the importance of self-care and self-love. And a sacrifice I had to make this summer was distancing myself from other people, kind of like isolating myself so I could focus on my own well-being. Through that, I definitely watched some of my friends drift away, and Personally, I'm like obviously partly to blame because in a way I did neglect the friendship, but so did they, And now that I think about it, a lot of my friends that have, drifted away from me were really toxic for me. And here we are. And that's fine, because the support system I have now in my inner circle, I have nothing but amazing things to say about them. I honestly could be moved to tears right now for how grateful I am for everyone in my life, both friends and family. If any of you guys are watching this, you know who you are. Thank you so much for being just an incredible person in my life. Or incredible person, period. But this past summer was definitely a time of self-growth and self-love, and I don't regret it in the least bit, not at all. Like I said, I am in a place where I feel so much better. I honestly am shocked that I have this mindset right now. I've never been so optimistic and happy about life. Like, this is a thing. Being happy once in a while, it's nice, Like, feeling happy is nice. But when you're consistently happy, wow, it just hits different. It really does. So while we're on the topic of, relationships and stuff, how's my dating life going? It's not. Also, did I really just, press my concealer into my face 10,000 times? Yeah, I just did. As you could tell, I get lost in my train of thought very easily. Don't mind me. And if you don't like that, then you don't like that. Last time I dated or hooked up was summer of 2020, which I mentioned. And, I had my hoe phase during my freshman year, which it was more so kind of exploring the options and just seeing who was around because I'm at university now. I'm in college. I gotta see what's out there. Well, that was short-lived, and I did a bit of dating here and there, last summer, and I've completely stopped. To be honest, it's really not something that's a pressing issue at all. I'm not actively looking for anything right now. I've been so fine being single. But the big thing about it was, during the time of isolation and constantly thinking about everything that's happened in my life, between homophobia and racism and bullying in general, I began to rethink about all my past relationships. The last time I actually had a boyfriend was high school. I kind of feel bad saying this, but it's just the truth. There is no relationship that I had that went well at all. I honestly have regretted every single relationship I've been in. And yes, I do know the part I played in some things. I'm obviously not a perfect person. Do I wish I was? Yes. Hold on that thought. But I didn't deserve some of the things that happened to me in my past relationships, whether it be cheating or abuse, both sexually and emotionally, you know? Wow, we just got real deep right there. Oh boy. Oh fucking vey. We're just gonna... Don't want to linger on this issue too long because it's honestly a really negative topic. Like, reliving the trauma last year is a big reason why I don't prioritize dating and finding love anymore, which honestly, like, hearing me say that out loud kind of breaks my heart because heartbroken. I definitely know that feeling. Because of course I want a boyfriend. Like, I just want that companionship so much, but honestly at this school I really don't think I'm gonna get it. And as a result of kind of reliving my trauma, I've become more sheltered when it comes to that. And do I wish I was sheltered? Absolutely not. But it's just kind of like the truth. And, you know, it's like a running joke between me and my friends, like, men ain't shit. And the way it's like kind of playing into my life is like, is it really just a joke, you know? So there's a lot of like red tape to get through when it comes to that. But like I said, it's not a priority right now. I've been perfectly fine being single, honestly. So we're just gonna keep rolling with the punches, and that's that. Like, being open-minded and allowing blessings to come into my life is kind of the way I roll, and that's kind of how I reestablish the amazing friendships I have with so many people now. So that's just kind of the mentality that I'm having when it comes to dating. That's the gossip on the juicier, you know, topic. There's really not much that entails it, so why don't we just move along? Alright, let's talk about cheer, because that is a topic that's quite pertinent to this channel. I mean, I have 2 videos that are relevant to that topic. Let's start off by saying I have some serious back problems. Ooh. It was so bad to the point that I actually got surgery last year. So I had multiple herniated discs from kind of the pounding that you can get. Oh, my dirty mind, like the pounding. Please, Timothy, it's so bad. The pounding that my body took from kind of rebounding off a dead surface, you know, during my tumbling, like doing that over and over and over again, which, you know, on top of like lifting people and throwing people, did a number on my back, especially my lower back. And oh boy, when I got an MRI, there were so many diagnoses on that. I was like, how am I still walking? How do I still have a back? How did my back like not just like pop out of my body and like fucking run away? Like, I did so much damage to it and I didn't even realize it. And it caught up with me last year because I'm honestly not getting any younger, and I'm way past my prime. Like, honestly, my physical prime was in high school. That was the peak of my skills. So the pain and the injury were just debilitating, and I had to do something about it. So I underwent a micro decompression procedure where they basically popped back in my herniated disc, which was causing spinal stenosis, which is narrowing of the spinal canal. And they repaired my back. I was cleared to cheer again. This was last year. And obviously with the pandemic, you know, cheer was on a much more limited scale. Like, we couldn't even stunt. We had to, it was mostly just like going over material, like the chants, the cheers, stuff like that. So it really wasn't anything too special. But the big T about cheer is I've quit. And that's probably shocking because, you know, cheer's been a huge, huge, huge part of my life. You know, I've been doing it for several years now. Everything I state in this video is from my perspective, my opinion, and I'm allowed to share it. And actually at my school, I think there's a website that literally explicitly states that we're allowed to be open about our opinions. So if anybody wants to take away that right from me, girlie, we have some issues. We have some fucking issues, okay? Major changes to the coaching staff this year have been a huge reason why I've dropped cheer from my life. Like I said, I don't want to make this video to shame people or like drag them, but the treatment of athletes honestly disgusted me. I have never, in my years being a cheerleader, have seen such dysfunction on behalf of the coaching staff. And yes, I do know, like, when you sign up for a sport or, you know, cheer or anything, like, it is a commitment and you have to, you know, participate. I totally get that. But the big thing about it is we're still in a freaking pandemic and we are Ivy League students. No one's asking to take an entire semester off, which I was accused of asking, which I never did. I talked to my coaches because I was concerned about my injury getting worse and it impacting other parts of my life, such as school and stuff. And it seemed like when I was divulging all this information, being really vulnerable and candid about what was happening to me, I thought I was being understood. But a week later, when we talked about it again, and I was cited completely incorrectly, that was just frustrating and kind of signaled to me like, I'm done. In my opinion, and in multiple people's opinions on the teams, it felt like our voices were being muted in favor of the coaches' thoughts and opinions. And I was appalled. I really was. And I was like, I'm not partaking in this any longer. And people also, when I quit, so did many other people too. It's actually funny because I did come across some people at an event and they're like, hey, like, we're new people on the cheer team and we joined after you quit and we're thinking about quitting next year too. Like, it's so messy. Like I said, never have I ever seen such dysfunction. Even my freshman year when everyone hated the coach, this has never happened. It just feels like the coaching staff are so disrespectful to the athletes and I'm not here for it. And it's not even just me who feels like that. It's so many other people. It's honestly disgusting and appalling. It's funny too because cheer isn't even like considered like a real sport at my school. We're like kind of thrown in the back and we're not treated like real athletes, but we don't receive the same benefits as the other athletes do. On top of that, like talking to other athletes, they're like, yeah, like not even our coaches are that rough and tough on us. Like they're lenient and they're understanding of the fact that this is still a pandemic and that we have so many other things going on, that this is an Ivy League school. I'm starting to fume. It wasn't even just the coaching staff. Like there was just some people on the team that I felt like it was almost like they were kind of living out their high school fantasy of like being on a cheer team, and I just obviously I didn't vibe with them, and like it was annoying to put up with that practice. Especially, this is the thing, I don't like flaunting or like showing off my accomplishments because I'm very secure in what I've achieved and what I've earned. So I don't feel the need to constantly like flaunt and be like, I do this and I do that and I have this and I have that, you know? It almost felt like I was kind of vicariously living a stereotypical cheerleader life, and I was like, no, not for me, not for me. I am past this point in my life and this is not it. You know, I acknowledge that I joined cheer in college to kind of perpetuate this high school dream of being on a cheer team, which I was on a cheer team in high school, but I was hoping to continue that into college, and it's just different. And I think this was the year of a lot of realization and epiphanies, and that was definitely one of them. And it obviously was really heartbreaking to let go of cheer because, like I said, this is something I've been doing for such a long time, but I've learned recently that sometimes have to let go of the things that you love, which I honestly didn't really love college cheer. I really more so love the sport in itself. And you have to let go of stuff that you love to make room for even better things. And I think this is it. I think, oh, did I turn the camera? Whoops! I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And, you know, through that, I've rekindled my passion for art again and creating. And I really am so happy to sit down here and just be open and talk and be artistic at the same time. This is the thing, like, people sometimes ask me, like, why do you, like, own makeup? Like, or why do you have, like, this big collection? Like, to me, it's an art form. It's just like a painter having an easel and their paintbrushes and their watercolors and, you know, their acrylic paints. It's like a similar concept. I'm creating a painting on my face, pretty much, you know? Do I like to ice my face and be all cakey and shit? No, I actually prefer a much more natural look. Still allows me to create and experiment and just be free. It's honestly so therapeutic. I highly recommend. One of my last videos I ever uploaded before disappearing for an entire year, which I actually still do feel sorry about, like, to anybody that's watching this and has been like a loyal subscriber, thank you so much. Let's talk about my fraternity. To be honest, this topic probably could have an entire video on its own, but we're just gonna share some like the more major things that have happened this year regarding, you know, my fraternity. So I've actually shot some of my previous recordings in the fraternity house, which is where I'm living this year. And actually I do quite frankly enjoy living there, even though there are certainly some things that I wish were different when it comes to like the living situation. But at the end of the day, I do enjoy living there quite a bit. But yeah, that's one of the more major things like regarding my fraternity, the fact that I live there now. A pretty important detail to note is I have a position in the frat, like reaching out to like other organizations like clubs, culture groups, sororities to like plan events, but obviously with the pandemic it is on a much more limited spectrum. But because of that, you know, it requires a lot more planning and just being more cautionary all around. And I think one of the bigger things about this year is I've actually put in so much effort into trying to keep this frat going for future members. Early in the year, I had cheer camp, and that immediately went into getting ready for the school year in terms of the frat. That was a great way to start the year, and you guys are gonna hear all about it. Actually, I need to get a little closer. I just need something more accessible and like more portable, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. But then the fucking mirror is so foggy. And oh my god, you can see the Tati palette right there, which I absolutely love. Love Tati too. Like, if anybody's familiar with her channel, you can tell that this video is very similar and heavily inspired by her. Anyways, that's off topic. So yeah, early in the year, I went from cheer camp, which was absolutely exhausting. Like, it took a toll on my body because, like I said, in spite of getting surgery, I still have, you know, issues with my back. So I was extremely exhausted and in pain, and I went straight into planning things and getting things ready. And to those who helped a lot, like Akash, if you're watching this, thank you so much for helping me. You're a real one. I've told you this before. Just spilling all the tea. Okay, it's fine. Honesty is the best policy. And it was frustrating. I'll admit, I can be a hothead. I get frustrated pretty easily, but you know, when your body is in so much pain and you're exhausted, I think anybody would be in a bad mood if they then had to go do some other obligations that I can't even, like, I physically can't do everything on my own, and very, very, very few people are helping. I genuinely feel like I sacrificed so much in the beginning of the year for this frat, and to not have the efforts be reciprocated or see the same kind of energy from everyone else has, you know, caused my passion to dwindle, and it's gotten worse as the year has gone on and on and on. And it's, you know, when everyone else around you doesn't seem to give a fuck, well, why should I, you know? Through that, I've also began to distance myself too, because I've grown frustrated, you know? I think a lot of people feel the same way, if I'm gonna be honest. I don't tell anybody this because I don't want people to feel sorry for me or make it seem like I'm trying to, oh, fudge, or I'm trying to, like, be an attention whore or, like, make people feel sorry for me, but, like, I actually had a mental breakdown after planning the first thing because I was so fucking tired. Like, I literally, my mom called me and I was in such a bad mood that I yelled at her, which I feel terrible about, and then I called her back crying and like complaining of how exhausted I was.
We interrupt this program for an important news announcement.
Hello. Of course I would totally forget to mention the people that are actually in my frat. Well, wait, hold up. Here comes the tea. I love a lot of them. And, you know, as with any situation, you vibe with some people, you don't vibe with some people, but in my fraternity right now, I have actually some of my closest friends. You know who you are. Thank you so much for being awesome. I've just been keeping to myself because the frustration that I mentioned. Also, school gets really rough, especially as a nursing student. And when school gets rough, you know, your mood goes south. And when your mood goes south, you want to keep to yourself. And the only people I want to see me in that state are my closest friends. So it just be like that, you know? Also, I look crazy. I just ripped off my lashes. Well, maybe it's because I actually am crazy. Let me know. But there's major tea. This year we had an event planned with one of the sororities. One girl who I already didn't like because I had heard really bad things of her, like really, really bad things. Like, I had reached out the night before this event. And the next day we had to cancel the event last minute, which was honestly very frustrating. Like, I can totally see why it was frustrating. So I had to tell this girl what had happened. I can pull up the receipts right now. But basically, like, the gist of what I said to her was like, sorry, we're canceling tonight. Like, we're gonna have bad turnout, pretty much. Like, nobody's gonna show up. And oh my god, Miss Girl did not take it well. I literally have the receipts. If you're in the sorority, I literally have the receipts against this person, so please don't fucking, like, come at me. I honestly don't really care about this because it's not a big deal, and this person is, like, not even worth my time. Like I said, I've heard so many terrible things about this person. It's honestly kind of hilarious. The person was like, I don't even know what to say. It's, like, so rude. And I was like, yeah, like, trust me, I'm, like, frustrated too. And, like, all of a sudden, I get sent these text messages about how this is some elitist bullshit. And, like, it's our loss. And I'm like, well, all right, feel free to react like that. Like, emotions are emotions, I guess. But, big but, homegirl, let's call her bitch because she's honestly a bitch.
B-I-C-T-H. In that order.
Am I getting in trouble for that? No, I don't give a fuck. They go into their sorority group chat and stir up a bunch of drama for no fucking reason. They literally have so many close friends in this sorority. You know, it's funny that people wouldn't think that someone would snitch on them anyways. You know, they're all mostly frustrated about the mixer being canceled, which I absolutely understand, but this girl is like, well, that doesn't compare to the whack text I got and shit like that. People are, like I said, more concerned about the thing being canceled, but then she brings up me again, and it's like, it was just his text message that was really rude, to be honest. Like, motherfucker, people are actually fucking worried about the event, and you're just constantly bringing up my rude text. And mind you, while this is happening, I literally have friends sending me screenshots. I was actually with one of my friends that's in the sorority at the time, literally showing me the text messages like happening in real time, just laughing my ass off because this clown literally acts like I don't have anybody in that would snitch on her. Anyways, I confront her ass and I'm like, hi, just letting you know, like some of my closest friends are and I see what's going down in the group chat. There was literally a girl in the story that said it's not my fault, but then she tries to bring it up and twist it to say that I was saying rude stuff to that girl when she literally said it wasn't my fault. It was like a whole mess. This bitch, sorry, that's her name. We're not calling people by their real names, but we're gonna have code names for people because that's just out of respect, you know? It's just petty drama. I really don't care too much at the end of the day. This bitch is like, well, you said rude stuff to this girl. First of all, no, girl, liar, snake. I literally have the screenshots where the person says it's not my fault anyways. And I'm like, you know, we all can say things that are misinterpreted or stupid shit sometimes, but you have to take things for face value instead of being negative and spreading rumors and adding negative value to things. It's just like, stop being a fucking drama queen and tarnishing my reputation behind my back, which is honestly funny because she was doing it, she was tarnishing her own reputation when I literally have my friends in the group chat spilling all the tea to me and like also talking about how much they hate her too, and it's just a whole mess. This girl literally was like, Tim, you know I think you're a chill guy. I just think your comments were rude and offensive. Which, what comments? Anyways, like, girlie, I've never fucking talked to you one-on-one, so how am I supposed to know that you think I'm chill and cool? Like, how does that make sense? Make it make sense. That's literally what I said. I was like, make it make sense. And all of a sudden, I get a text message about, sorry if I hurt your feelings in this communication. Bitch, my feelings weren't hurt. I was laughing the entire time, honestly. Like, honestly, like playing back in my like, this is literally clown energy. Like, throw the bitch in the circus, like, please. We're the wise, you don't want to be the wrong side of the truth, and people will find out. You just dug yourself a deeper hole because people already don't like you, and I've already heard beforehand so many terrible things about you, and you just pretty much confirm my suspicion. That's the thing, you guys. Like, when I hear terrible things about somebody, I try my best not to let that influence my own perspective of that person. But oh man, when it actually, like, when this shit happens, I'm like, oh, they were right. I should have listened to them. You live and you learn, you know? At the same time this was happening, like, someone in my frat that I also don't like and have heard really terrible things about was, like, being a drama queen too. And I'm just like, oh my god, can we just stop being fucking dramatic? Like, can we just stop being drama queens? Can we just stop being drama queens? I am so done with the unnecessary and petty drama. It's just so fucking ridiculous. It's laughable. Honestly, I don't really regret anything about this. I feel like I didn't really do anything that wrong. But, like, generally speaking, like, I will say things that I regret and do things that I regret. I'm an honest person. If anyone's confused about my intentions, which I emphasize to this person, or is confused about me, like, just tell me. Like, I have no clue if people talk shit about me or if there's rumors circulating about me. I honestly personally feel like I haven't done anything in college that warrants that. But if you just want to know the truth, come to me. I literally have nothing to hide. We all don't know what happens behind closed doors. We can all be a little bit more compassionate and empathetic during a time that's still difficult for so many people. I'm not even just trying to say, like, this was so difficult for me because I really don't give a fuck. But if you don't have to be mean, don't fucking be mean. That was some petty drama that happened. Moving right along. I mentioned in my video last year, yeah, technically last year, like last spring, about a new job I have where I mentor people, and I still have that job and I absolutely love it. And through that, it's opened more doors to other mentoring positions, and as a result, I've taken on the role of a first-generation low-income mentor, and I freaking love it. You know, going to such a prestigious school and like coming from a very unique familial background, it can be really intimidating, and imposter syndrome is so real, but having gone through that myself, it's really meaningful to share your experiences with others and teach about the importance of focusing on yourself and finding those who you truly connect with and embracing yourself, embracing your identity. And not only does like sharing those experiences and those lessons help others, but it's also helped me and taught me a lot, you know, listening to other people's perspectives and hearing about their heritage and their upbringings. And it's really, honestly, like a really beautiful thing. Like after Thanksgiving, I got a letter from one of my mentees saying how much they've appreciated all my insight, and that meant the whole world to me. It really did. There's just so much to be said about using your life experiences and your struggles and the lessons you've learned from them and how you've grown and sharing that with others to kind of empower them. Like there is just something so incredibly moving about that I could be moved to tears right now. But like I said, let's just charge forward. And even though showing emotion on camera, like, it's a strong thing to do, honestly, crying is painful for me. I don't like to cry. So we're just gonna try not to do it and move right along. Actually, I don't know if there's anything else to move on to. So we might just like speed up the video from here on out. I still have to do my eyeshadow. I still have to do lashes and do some finishing touches. So let's fast forward. If you're not interested in seeing that, you can feel free to skip forward, and then obviously we'll recap at the end. Century later, we are finally at the finished look, and you guys, I love it. Is pink my color? I don't know, man. Something about this look. And if you're wondering, Tim, do you wear this much makeup every fucking day? Hell no, I do not. Actually, almost all days, I literally wake up, throw on my glasses, and dash out the door. That's literally all there is to it. It's fun to play with makeup and just like glam up, even though, let me just be real, I'm literally just going to my friend's house. If you made it to the end of this video, kudos to you. I actually appreciate it a lot. I had a lot of fun just sitting down, playing with makeup, and talking with you guys. If you guys have any advice or insight, or like, Tim, you totally did that wrong, or you messed up over here, like, feel free to let me know. I'm all about self-growth and always becoming a better person, and that's one of my huge goals for 2022. I can always work on myself. I can always improve myself. I think character development is a really important thing, especially during these rough times that we're all in. I just want to reiterate, even though you guys probably have heard me say this one too many times, I'm not perfect. I know where I've messed up in certain parts, and I've made mistakes throughout my entire life. Many that I do regret, but I've grown from them and I've learned from them, and making mistakes and messing up is okay, and learning to not beat yourself up over it and learning how to grow from it is a really powerful thing. And I hope you guys understand that, and hopefully maybe that's something that you're doing right now, or something that you want to keep in mind as we move into 2022. And I'm sorry to anybody that I've hurt, and I'm sorry that I have let myself get hurt sometimes. Like I said, I don't know how big my YouTube community is anymore, but regardless of whether or not this video gets 1 view, 10 views, 1,000 views, 1,000,000 views, which I highly doubt, thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me, and I hope that you guys enjoyed today's video, even though I went on for ages and ages about probably stuff that you normally wouldn't really care about, but it means a lot to me, and I'm glad we got to spend some time hanging out and talking. It's like a little YouTube family, and I know like apps like TikTok are like probably the place I want to go if I want to be an influencer, but at the end of the day, that's not what I want. I want connection. I want something meaningful, and I feel like I can get that off of here. There's so many life lessons within this video that I touched upon, but I didn't really delve too deep into, and I think that would make a great idea for another video. But I do want to mention that I'm not going to slip up and be a hypocrite and not follow the lessons I've tried to ingrain within myself. Of course, yes. But the really great thing about kind of going through everything and conceptualizing these lessons is that when I fall off track, I have a better sense of what I need to do to pull myself back together. And I think that's the really important thing, because mistakes happen, life happens. You gotta do those things to kind of pull yourself together and move forward, because as much as I wish we could, you can't hit the pause button in life, and you just kind of have to keep charging forward with a good attitude. To those of you out there who still support me on this channel, thank you so much. To everyone in my life that has been there for me and has been my support system, or just, we've had good memories together, like, thank you for them. And I've unfortunately had to drop some friendships here and there, and some relationships were toxic, and you kind of just have to let go of them, and that's perfectly fine. It's difficult, it hurts, but sometimes you gotta take a risk and step out of your comfort zone to make advancements, and I think that certainly is that, There was a long time that I was pessimistic, and I was filled with self-doubt and always questioning my life and pondering, like, why am I here? But now I'm just beyond grateful and thankful for everything. And I'm not religious at all, and that actually has been kind of a blessing in a way, because I don't depend upon faith to drive me. All of my growth has happened from within. It's internal, and that's something I'm really proud of. I'm so excited to start 2022 with a better mindset and with more optimism. I'm going to try my best to be more consistent on YouTube for you guys, even connecting with a few people and just being creative and just being myself and having the opportunity to express myself is so meaningful. So enough of me going off on a tangent about really deep topics. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. It was a lot of fun, and I'm so glad to just be back here and just kind of laying things out and doing art on my channel. This is art to me. Please hit the subscribe button and stay tuned for more upcoming content. Hit the like button, that would help me a lot. Or you can hit the dislike button, like I can't even see it anymore. So you do you, like we all have the right to do whatever we want here. Anyways, I hope you guys are having a great day or night, and I wish you the best of luck.